Okay, we're going to start with Carrie Schmidt, who is joining us from outside the district. She's come to speak to us about a topic that is not noted. Carrie, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay. We look forward to hearing your viewpoint.
All right. Ms. Kelly, I would first like to address the comment you made to me after you cut off my feed during the last meeting. And you're asking me not to tell the president about it? We don't have time to deal with this, and your mother has enough to manage without having to process her son's fucking quarter-life NATO sexual crisis, so I won't tell her. But once the conversation is over, you have to. This book says shit 82 times, fuck 150.
Hey, Carrie, that's your warning. I do want to point something out. We have provided you policy IF several times, but to be clear, you have never stepped foot in a library in our district, nor do you know anything about our curriculum.
You mentioned how I know nothing about your curriculum. Well, if you have been listening to me, then you would know that I have never mentioned anything at any time about your district's curriculum. I have, however, mentioned what is in your libraries. I understand that you were trying to destroy my credibility by saying I have not stepped foot into your libraries. But a lot of people have not stepped foot into them because you have your whole catalog of books online for people to look up. For people in the community who want to look at books available to children in this district, go to books.usd497.org. Second, I want to respond to another comment you made about me. I have never challenged a book in your district because your policy doesn't allow it. And actually, there are many people who live inside your district boundaries that aren't even allowed to challenge a book due to your policy. Only students, staff, and parents can request a book to be reviewed. But you should know that though, right? Because it's your policy. You rudely removed me from the first meeting I spoke at here because I read a sexually explicit book in your district. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Welcome.
Okay. I'm so sorry. All right. Good evening. My name is Carrie Schmidt, and I would like to share a concern of mine regarding the sexual content you are providing in your libraries for adolescents to read. This district is providing books that describe how to get one out, have sex, masturbate. Just so everyone understands what I'm talking about, I'm going to read a bit of a book called A Court of Silver Flames that is available at both of your high schools. He couldn't take it. It was torture, a special kind of torture, to have Nesta kneeling before him with his mouth and hand and not be able to roar with pleasure. But then she stared at him through her lashes, and the sight of her with his in her lips snapped something. Casey slid his other hand into her hair and up into her mouth. She took it and moaned so it reverberated along his and straight into his. They tightened
Carrie,
further
could you
and
make your?
released.
I'm going to add. I'm just going to ask if you can make your point. At this, thank you.
Thank you
for reading that.
Me to stop. Are you ordering or are you asking?
No, I'm not asking you to stop. I want you to have your full time. I think you have a point to make, and I do want to hear it.
Do I get my time back?
I'm comfortable with that.
Thank you. She took him deep and moaned so it reverberated along and straight into, tightened further and released. Gathered in his spine, a scorching knot that had him aching into her mouth again. He was utterly at her mercy.
Okay,
Nesta moaned once more in a soft encouragement, and Cassian needed nothing else. Gripped her hair, her scalp, place. He threw his hips.
Madam President,
with each stroke.
Call a point of order. Here's the
deal.
I'm sorry, ma'am. We're going to pause your time for just a sec, please.
For the students.
If she has a complaint, we have a complaint policy related to library materials.
Thank you.
And I would just remind the board that we have that complaint policy, and we can provide the citation to the policy for her to follow. Thank you.
We have the comment and email that we can provide? Okay. So pertaining to the complaint about the materials, we can provide you the information for contacting the board and having that reviewed by a librarian. Okay, can we Carrie, can you,
wrong with me reading this here?
I'm sorry, Carrie, do you have a, if you want to make a complaint about items
I have
pertaining
a point that I'm
to,
making, and I feel like you're not allowing me to make that point.
I am explaining that if you have a complaint about a particular book, we have a policy, complaint policy pertaining to that, which we can send you.
And I have full rights to read the content to you
You do not.
during public
No,
comments, because
we
I don't
actually
think that
have
you
the right
understand
to.
and know what's in this.
Okay, so the
what's in
time
this
has
book.
run out. We appreciate
No, I
the
don't
comments
think
that you've made, and we will provide you the information pertaining to books, and you are welcome to email us anything additional you have to say, and we will make sure that you can have access to that policy pertaining to books.
IF.
It is IF. Okay. Move on. James,
You assumed I was making a complaint and told me that I needed to look at your policy process. However, I was not making a complaint. I was making a statement. So you and the community knew what kind of pornography you were providing to kids. Next time you lie or suggest to the public that someone doesn't know what they are speaking about, I suggest that you do your homework first, because more times than not, they have. I don't know what you think you are gaining by making salacious statements about me, but it's a bad look. Not only did you do that, but you waited to make all of your catty statements after you silenced me because you knew I couldn't correct you and could gaslight people into questioning if what I was sharing about your books was true. That is cowardly and shocking behavior from someone who preaches decorum and has the title of board president. I have made it clear that I choose to speak here because you expect adults to refrain from saying a stupid cuss word during your meetings, but you think it is okay to have those same cuss words written in your books you provide to children. Not only that, but you have explicit content available for children to read in your district. Your ego, your priorities, and your policy make zero sense to me. I'm going to read a few sentences from a book called Ramona Blue by Julie Murphy. Fuck off, I shout. Fuck, whispers Freddie. I'm fucking knocked up. Fuck, I whisper. Grace loves this shit. But we have to get all that shit. Can't we throw all that shit in a shopping cart? Long distance bullshit. Which he always lovingly referred to as the heap of shit. You need the same standards in your books that you have in your meetings if you want to provide, or if you want people to respect and take you seriously. If you stand by your shitty policy, then you need to remove
that's it.
books and libraries that have cuss words in them, as well as
Carrie,
pornography.
I appreciate your comment
Thank-
again. All right, so we're going to move on now to Dr. Spees. And he is also joining us from outside of the district and wishes to talk about previous board meetings. Dr. Spees.
Can you hear me?
We can. Welcome.
All right. I want to speak to things that were said on the record at this meeting on February 24th, 2025, and I want to ask you guys a question about that. At that meeting, a speaker discussed a recent court case ruling, and that ruling spoke to the fact that speakers can't be disrupting the meeting with their speech during general public comment, even if using vulgar language, which you have removed me from meetings here for quote-unquote disrupting the meeting because of the words I used. After discussing that, the speaker at that meeting then said, quote, and this is on the record here, this is what that speaker said, "So the actual disruption is coming from you assholes up there." We can't be disruptive during our 3 minutes. It's already set aside. So the actual disruption is coming from you assholes up there.
Justin, that's your warning.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck
Shut-
you and your
please turn off
warning.
the
So
thing. Thank you.
no, fuck you. I cannot
shut
be
this off, please.
interrupting this meeting during my 3 minutes. It is not a disruption. This is called free speech.
Okay. We're going to move on. Mr. Arabi.
Would you agree or disagree that you assholes are actually the disruption?
Justin, can you refrain? I think you're making a point. We'd like to hear it. Can you refrain from using?
Yeah, the
Can you
point
go
is
back
that
Justin, I'm going to give you back your
about.
time. 1 moment. Can you go back 5 seconds?
we can't talk about things that were
No, you
spoken
can.
at
I'm going to give, I want to make
meeting
sure you have
before.
your time. Just a second.
So again, at that
Go
meeting,
ahead.
that speaker said, quote, "So the actual disruption is coming from you assholes up there." And I
Justin,
was wondering if you guys agree or disagree with that. At a previous meeting, Kelly, you stopped me from speaking because you said I couldn't use, quote, obscene language. And matter of fact, LJ World used that same phrase, obscene language, when they reported on these meetings. So I want to read to you from the case of Moms for Liberty versus Brevard Public Schools, because the ruling on the use of obscene language and what is not allowed. And so in that ruling, court writes, during the incident, Moms for Liberty cites a member shared her concern that her child's elementary school library contained inappropriate books. She began reading one which detailed an in-school sexual encounter. I swung the door open, letting a soft light from the hallway shine a spotlight on them. Shit, she muttered. Then the court writes, Belford quickly interrupted the speaker when she got to the word shit. That word, though not polite, is not obscene.
Justin, can
And
you
so
try to make your comments without utilizing inappropriate language?
So I can't now I can't enlighten you guys on what district courts have ruled on the word shit at public meetings. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
And so that's what I've been saying this whole time, is that using the word shit
You can
is allowed.
definitely share your viewpoint without doing that. So if you would,
Well, but the viewpoint is that the word shit is allowed, and my viewpoint is that I'm reading
I'm
from
trying
this
here.
case
That's
that
enough.
said that.
Thank you.
And so, matter of fact, the court.
Okay. Dr. Courtney?
Kelly, before we conclude, may I take a moment to make an announcement and share some information with the community? I wanted to just share with folks so that you know, and it relates to the experiences that this board has with public comment in our community, that over the last 4 days in particular, harassment, bullying, and intimidation attempts through voicemail and email, I've received personally over a dozen and a half of these just in the last 4 days. They're almost exclusively from men between the ages of 30 and 65. They use hateful, obscene, and misogynistic language in their voice messages. It's really disturbing. I just wanted to I'm making this as an announcement because I wanted to make the community aware that the bullying, harassment, intimidation that you've seen in person in our board meetings continues. It's just not happening on the floor of the boardroom currently. It's happening online, and it's extending far beyond what you see or what is being reported about in the media or otherwise. And the perpetrators of these intimidation tactics are coming from both within our community and also well beyond the boundaries of our community and even our state. They're coming from all over the United States. And this is because what happens is that the video from our meetings is being used to create YouTube content that is then shared in extremist online groups. And this is something that I would wager that the volume of hate speech that's been directed at me personally is probably less than what is being experienced by other women on our board, because I'm not the current board president. However, I wanted to share with the community that I refuse personally to be silenced by these bullying attempts. Our community and our peers in our community at the county and city government need to know that the joint collective efforts that we are all trying to make to ensure that civil, safe, and inclusive civic dialogue is preserved and continue in this community. So thank you for letting me share that, and I appreciate your indulgence. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Have a good evening.